So the average cost of vehicle ownership in 2022 in the United States to own and operate a new vehicle, according to the American Automobile Association, was $10,728 per year, or around $894 per month. That was actually a huge increase from 2021, when the average yearly cost was $9,666 or $805 per month. So I decided to take a look at our vehicle estimates and give you a run through of exactly how much we spend on our car to own and operate it, given that it's not a new vehicle, in Westminster, Colorado. For reference, our car is a 2016 Subaru Forester. We've had it for 7 years. It has around 63,000 miles as of December 2022. Okay, so glasses on because now we're getting serious into the math. Just so you know, if you haven't been aware yet, there's something called inflation that's been on the rise from 2022. 2023 is predicted to have more inflation, maybe a slower pace, but inflation is still going to be on the rise, and it's a month-on-month rise. So every single month you see something slightly different. When you go back and get that roast chicken that you have been getting for dinner for a while, I was very surprised going to the grocery store. The roast chicken I used to get in 2021 was around $7, and now it's around $9, thanks to inflation. All right, so the first expense would be gas prices. This one's a little bit hard to gauge because in this climate, gas prices are constantly changing. You see that gas prices haven't really been too stable. Maybe the last couple of months it has been more stable, around $4 in Colorado in general. But it's really hard to gauge this one because the miles that we drive are very different depending on the holiday season or regular work season. Also, gas prices are expected to increase during the summertime. And one of the primary reasons is because environmental regulations ask oil and gas companies to, during that season, use a different kind of gasoline. So a gasoline that's less evaporative and that's more expensive. And also during that time, you have very, very hot days where oil and gas companies are going to need more electricity in order to run some of the processes they do for the oil and gas facilities. And that's why you get slightly higher cost of oil during that time. Another reference, we use Costco, and Costco gas prices are typically lower than most of the other gas prices in the area. So if you're wanting to switch to Costco, now's a good time. This is not a paid promotion, by the way. We just like Costco a lot. So I used an average from mid-February to around mid-March to give you an estimate of our gas prices per month. Now, I would say that this is a fairly conservative estimate given the fact that on given days, we may drive a little bit further and not stop by Costco. We try to use Costco all the time, but we may not stop by Costco sometime and get gasoline at a more expensive facility. Also, during the holidays, people tend to drive more. So this doesn't include the holiday yet, and it doesn't include the summer months. So in February 11th, we spent around $39.83 on gas. February 18th, we spent around $41.18 on gas. February 24th, around $52.58 on gas. March 4th was $53.81 on gas. March 8th was $43.43 on gas. March 16th was $35.33 on gas. The total estimate for like mid-February to mid-March, total period, total month, was around $266.16. If you had to times that number by 12, you're looking at $3,193.92. I want to say I'm going to increase that to $4,000 in my head, but for the sake of math, let's keep it at this figure, just so you know that this is a very conservative estimate, as I talked about above. The second big expenditure is maintenance and repair in the United States. So for those of you who don't know, and our international labor in the United States is incredibly expensive. You may think changing out a part like a brake pad is going to be relatively cheap, but then they add on maybe 50% of labor cost afterwards, and that's where your big bills are coming in. So the first one is car wash and waxing for maintenance and repairs. We live in Colorado and it snows a lot. After a snow season, we like to get our car waxed up so that it is ready for the next snow season. We also have a garage where we put our car, which means that we don't really have to wash it as often as other people. We wash our car probably about twice a year, and we do a wax job on it for $150. And so with washing, which is $25 per time of washing and one-time wax, we're looking at about $200 per year spent on our car on wash and wax. In 2022, we incurred some major expenses on maintenance that we really don't anticipate in 2023 again. But just in case, I want to add them here for a reference called contingency. Now, I would say you always, as a rule of thumb, should keep around $1,000, $2,000 for your car every year on contingency because you never know what's going to happen. For us in 2022, a lot of things came into play. We had to change out a lot of major equipment in the car, do some service on the car in order to incur these expenses, but you never know what's going to happen during that year. You may, God forbid, get into an accident, unfortunately, and you may need some backup money in order to fix your car afterwards. The expenses for brake pad changeout was around $543.79 in 2022, this is. Oil change, which happened at 5,000 miles, was $218.33. The oil filter replacement was about $60.06. The replacement of our fuel injectors was $1,049.01. The total cost of maintenance then in 2022 was about $1,871.
I don't know why I like to call it $1,000. It's more like $1,871.19. English is still a hard language.
All right, so registration fees and taxes. These are very different. It differs state by state. I think some states require you to go register your car every couple of years, some state every year. In Colorado, our state assesses our registration fee based on the age and weight of the vehicle, and it's assessed annually. In 2023, our total ownership tax and registration fees totaled to around $153.91. Insurance for cars is typically paid out annually. Insurance premiums can either increase or decrease. Increase often is that you have probably gotten some speeding tickets or you got into an accident and you're now considered a higher risk for the insurance company that you're going with. Decrease if you just shop around and compare some prices.
Often insurance premiums can't really decrease just because you're a good driver. It doesn't really decrease that much of the insurance premium. Unfortunately, it just increases if you're a bad driver.
But if you can maintain a clean record, typically you're not paying a huge amount for insurance, which is good. Our insurance duration was from May 2022 to May 2023 of this year, and it's paid out last year as $1,735 for loss with this duration, and we'll have to repay that in June. Okay, last is depreciation. It's not necessarily something you pay out of pocket as an expense every year, but it's more factored into an expense towards the asset because the asset is depreciating over time. If you don't know what an asset is, it's something that adds value to your home or your business. You can typically calculate depreciation on an online calculator based on the model of the car, the age of it, the mileage, the type of car, etc. And our depreciation for the 7th year of owning this car is $1,225. All right, so now comes the fun part when we add all of it together. This was kind of hard afterwards. Firstly, I didn't know this much went into our car because, again, my spouse helps regulate all of the expenses of going into our car. But man, this makes me excited that we only have one car for this season. Again, not to discourage you, but try have one car this season if you can. If you're trying to look for ways to save money, try and drive one car. So the gas prices. Gas prices came to $3,193.92. Just so you know, that's still a conservative estimate. Car washing and wax is $200. Maintenance and repairs contingency total was $1,871.19. State registration fees and taxes were $153.91. Insurance is $1,735. Depreciation, which we bill out as an expense, is $1,225. The total for owning and operating a car that's 7 years old in the state of Colorado is $8,379.02. I'm glad that we're below average, but as you can tell, we're not very below average. And the average that was estimated by AAA was given for owning and operating a new car, and we have a 7-year-old car and we're still paying around like $8,000 for it.
$3,000, where am I getting that from? I wish it was $3,000. $8,000 for it.
I also want to let you know that this video is not intended to discourage you from driving more than one car. There's definitely different circumstances with every individual. There's kids you have to pick up. Maybe you and your spouse work in different areas and you really need two modes of transportation. I'm just here to encourage you that if you can, after watching this video, hopefully you can figure out ways that you can maybe drive one car as opposed to two cars everywhere you go after looking at these expenses. I highly encourage you, if you both are working hybrid jobs or remote jobs, to try save your bucks this year and drive one car, because you never know how far that penny can stretch. And if you're wondering where to put the extra money, always put it in a high yield savings account or put it in investments. Take care, you guys.